Welcome to the Four Corners series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, and we're picking up on the 26th of August 1939. What I want to do in this part is try and get at least a basic working crime and justice framework going, and also work on trying to improve my loyalty and happiness, because I think at the moment I'm taking too many losses due to the low loyalty and low happiness. But before that, a big thank you for all comments and feedback. You guys give me so much to think about. Now, I did get a suggestion about replacing all my wagons with more up-to-date vehicles, and I think that is a good idea. But one thing I am a bit worried about is spending all this money. I know I've got 1.7 million, but I would rather try and keep that in case I need to try and bring in some immigrants to prop up my population, or possibly, as somebody else suggested, is using auto build to try and get some things fixed. So at the moment, just want to hang on to the money in an attempt to keep those options open. Is probably the polite way of saying it. But before we get into any gameplay, I just want to talk about a couple of things. The first one is that in Community Report 43, the devs gave us a bit of an update with respect to the Crime and Justice update, which is now, I can't remember what version we're on. And also they talked a little bit about the new foul water system. So I thought I'd just talk a little bit about that in that context, especially as the update for Crime and Justice is relevant to this series, because what they've done is they've made an adjustment with the crime rate now, which means that it's phased in over a period of time when you first start, and it doesn't reach maximum impact until you get to a population of 12,000. So at the moment we've got a population of 4,500, and what that means is our crime rate should generally be lower. And we have finished this small police station. I seem to have quite a lot of crime in here, but then this police station is really covering this area as well, Titusville. We've still got a lot of undetected crimes or unmonitored dark crimes, and I think part of the problem with this is that the vehicles we're using are mounted police, and they're probably not that quick, and there's not that many of them. So we've got a fair amount of crime in the area. We've got a few minor crimes, a couple more medium crimes scattered around here, and we've even got a couple of serious crimes. And I suppose that also relates to Titusville. Titusville doesn't, because of course at the moment Titusville has no courtroom, and it's dependent on this courthouse here. So it looks like, because the change has been brought in after I started doing this, we may have a little bit of a consequence here. We do have a courthouse over here, but it doesn't seem to be picking up. I mean, we got a full staff there. I mean, I'm not sure why these guys aren't doing it that way. We've actually got a jail here, though we don't seem to have anyone in here at the moment. You're going to get 25 prisoners. Then again, let me just speed up. There might be a few coming down to work in the prison. But of course, there's no clothes or... Okay, so what we're going to need to find is the distribution office delivers clothes. Right, New Hope Village Storehouse. So we add you there. And we'll get you to deliver the clothes. This is the one that picks up from here, so what we need to do is add you there. Get some food in there as well. One thing I do need to make sure is actually the limit is actually set, which is good. I mean, we're not going to store all that much in the way of clothes and food in here, but we've only got 25. I think that's probably a bit wishful thinking, that 30%. I think the loyalty in this area is, I don't know, it is 30%. But you can see we're not really getting the good coverage. So we've got ourselves a small... Oops. Maybe we'll take it up to 30%. So we've got a prison, but we've got a courthouse here that's got no crime. We've got a police station over here that's full of crime. Okay. So I wonder why I suppose it might take a little while for things to settle down. before we do that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is to do with the new update, which is going to be the water update. I'm going to call it the water update. And I just want to check something with respect to this village because this represents what would be a small starter town. One of the features of the you can say the sewage disposal is actually having a gradient down here. Oh, that's brilliant. It says elevation change -6 -6 meters. So that would be great for setting up a gravity fed sewage system. Out of curiosity, one slight problem with this type of system is that's -16 meters, so that's pretty good. Now, one of the problems you would have is if you built a town way away from the water, the question becomes is how you actually get rid of the sewage. So that would be an issue, especially if you were starting on a map where there was no nearby water source. But of course, one thing the devs haven't said at the moment is how crucial that actually is to people's health. I would guess that what most likely will be is water will be close to food and clothes. If the people don't get it, they're going to get upset very, very quickly. And I would guess the sewage disposal will be tied more to health, but they probably will also have an effect on happiness. So there's going to be all sorts of values that are going to have an effect on happiness. Now, there's one other thing I want to show. This is a new mod. Apologies, I can't remember who actually created it, but we come in here and we go to excavators, you'll see there's a little mod here. I'm just going to buy it. It's called Digging Crew, and what it does is they can act as an excavator and a bulldozer. But the reason I want to buy these, even if I can't use them, is I'm going to be because if you click in here now and you click on here, what you'll see here is it says show vehicles capable to transporting this vehicle. What I'm looking to see is whether we can put it on a rail truck, Mack truck, but it looks very much like I suspected it would be true, that is the fact that if we can put it on open holes, the wagons can't carry it, so we'd have to buy a steam hole or something like that, or something like this to actually use it. We got a low boy which is available in 1935, so in order to use that we would have to to get it out of here we'd have to buy one of these. In fact, let's just buy one. We got a R3 there, so if we buy an R3 open hole, where is it? Make sure we buy that in gas. There's a lot more versions. And where's the R3? Oh, 1928. So it's done like that. So this tells you every one that is available, and I think that also includes vehicles from the dollars and rubles. That's something you need to keep an eye out for. Got McCormick Deering Type U Lowboy, and we got this vehicle here. It's the will not even attempt to pronounce that. We're just going to come in here. It's this one, isn't it? 19th. So what we should be able to do is put you onto. Oh, I've bought the wrong one. Apologies for this. I'm wasting money. I bought the wrong rubles. Open hole, that's better. There it's there. And what we need to do now is find a construction office that will need them. Let me just see. I'm kind of a bit inclined to. This is actually, let me just think. Actually, where we could send them is traffic jam. Yes, I know you're probably all queuing up, but no, what we'll do is we'll send you to this construction office out here. Get you out here. Anyway, that aside, let's just see if things are starting to happen. I'm not exactly too sure why this courthouse is not picking up. I mean, is there a range? We've got no prisoners, but we've got crimes being detected. And these guys are not chance to solve. These not solving anybody because there's not enough people in here. So does that mean we've got to make sure this is full? This is slightly worrying. I think we're just going to let it run for the moment and see how things go. Because the other problem we did have developing was food. As you can see, we're actually getting a bit of a crash with respect to we need to get this finished so that we need to get some food into here. If we don't, we're going to get, we're already getting a developing problem here already. This is what's worrying me. This up here just isn't working, I don't think. Because we haven't finished this, but I don't think we can worry too much about this. We didn't really collect that much in the way of crops either. Although we did get that there. Okay. What jobs has this guy got now? See what he's got. So at the moment he's working on the number of different buildings. We've got a police station here. Over here. These stables here. So if we can get this built, maybe what we'll be able to do is see whether this will actually make a difference. Because if this is actually picking this up, yeah, we are losing population, which is of course for concern. But I think the only way we can try and fix this, I think most of the population is coming out of New Hope here because of the food situation. We need this built. Well, you can do it. You can do it. We need a little bit more gravel. Loyalty is low. Yes. Gonna watch this for the moment. Actually, while we're doing it, we'll just take a quick look at. Yeah, the loyalty is 14%, which is, so you can see the happiness now is down to 8% in here. I think we're in trouble. Oh no, the average is still 25%, but it's below 30%, which means that the productivity is going to be absolutely trash. And I think if we can prove that here, yeah, average productivity 30%. We just need to. It's saying that the food is okay. It's just. So we got food coming into there. We've got no cellars in here as well. I'm going to do something a little bit desperate here because I would like to keep this area going. So what I'm going to do, and I say this is a little bit kind of desperation, is I'm going to pull some workers out of Judah. What's the cinema building? What we're going to do is just try to keep people in here. This might be quite a big mistake, but I think if we can get people in here, another 80 in here. Right, we've got this here. I'll just pause. Find the distribution office that sends the food out. New Hope food store. Yep. Thank you. Put some food into here. Well, you only pick up food, don't you? You can put food in there. Where do you get your clothes from? This is meat, but I don't think we've got an option. I think we've got a bit of a problem with meat supply as well. So how does this guy get his clothes? 1.64 tons. Yeah, we're using a dedicated vehicle for... Looks like we're actually running out of clothes as well now. Oh, this is going badly wrong. Alright, we'll just use this truck I bought. And... you can pick up clothes and deliver them to there. Good do is get a few servers in here. Number of shoppers in front of the shop. Expected rating. So this is actually tourist type as well. So we got this here. Just see here. Right. New Hope's in trouble. Trouble is I've got certain key resources over here which I need to keep going. Let me just see. I mean, let's just take a look at the... I mean, the loyalty and happiness... the happiness is under 50% over here now. Do we have anything in here yet? Court staff, judges... Got nobody in prison. I'm just not sure why we've got lots and lots of here, but we don't have a lot of people in this area. We have a prison. Right. Hopefully, if we spread the load a little bit, we might actually come to terms with this food situation. We just see if the happiness is improving a little bit. 27%, 23%. And loyalty is literally under 10% here. Let me just check the heating plant. We need to keep an eye on the heating plant because not all my buildings are, especially in, actually the place we do need to keep an eye on is here, because if this heating plant fails, we will have a complete population crash. How's the loyalty here? 26, 27%. Let's get back over here. What is this guy building? Actually, just have a quick check here. Got no workers. I need to pull workers into New Hope. This is going to be an act of sheer desperation. I mean, we got by without workers in here, so what I'm going to do is this is going to be very much a long shot. It all could go all very badly wrong. We're going to pull as many people as we can into New Hope. I think if we do this, we may be able to save the day. I'm just gonna try and get as many people back. I know I'm pulling everyone out of this area here, but what I'm trying to do is pull them from the heated buildings. But I think if we can get New Hope functioning, because this is where all our key resources are. 2, 3, 4. If I can get a strong workforce in here, we might be able to pull this round, but it's not looking good. Right, we got more there. Just gonna pull them all back to here. Pull some more into there and there. What that means is we should get a full population. I don't believe it. We can't be losing them this quickly. So we've now got a full population into here, but hopefully what that will do is it still hasn't lifted the loyalty that much. I was hoping it would, but what it does done is it's lifted the happiness, because these people, the people I've brought in, were happier. And we've got 99% food. We should be able to get the health back up. The culture is not brilliant, but I think as people go out and fulfill the facilities around here, we might be able to just keep things going. And of course, we've got clothes production here, and it's things like the clothes production over here that is what I'm really interested in, because it means we'll get at least some people in here producing some clothes, which means that we won't have to import it. Bit of a problem. I mean, we got kindergartens, we've got culture, we've got sports, and I think what I'm also going to do is, again, I think we'll try and get everybody that can work onto, yeah, this is Titus. I want you working on that as well. Right, you're working on there as well. So what we're going to do is focus very much on New Hope. Try and get it to be a little bit more stable. Maybe produce some wood pitch as well. Along with that, up here, we're just going to try and work with the food production we've got here. I mean, I've got 2 monuments here covering over. And we got the, I want to check the orphanage. Maybe we'll drop that down a bit, see if we can get a few more workers into the orphanage. We still got the alcohol problem, and we got 0 loyalty from the children. Just drop you down as well. I think the problem is my loyalty settings are too high now. Get that down here. Put you down. Where's the school? Down to 20%. That's the kindergarten. But here, just, oh, we got actually, that was full with 35%, so that's good. Still losing population though. Are we getting escapees? Escapees is a big factor as well. We just go back here. Yeah, the problem is that because the loyalty and happiness is so low, that we're getting more and more people escaping. And so at the moment we've got more deaths than births. Plus we got escapees. So we've had 372 births, but we've lost over 1,000 people in deaths and escapes, which is not good. We can keep New Hope going. I'll be happy. And of course, on the positive side is that the lower the population drops, is the less effect crime and justice will have. I don't understand why these guys, we can't get that there, and we've got no one in prison. Building without power supply. Looks like we've got power problems now as well. Yep, no workers. I've got a feeling that this is rapidly falling apart. Shouldn't have pulled all the workers. I forgot all about the power supply. Let me just see. Yeah, the population is starting to fall apart here now. Okay, I'm in trouble. If any of you know the reason why I've got a police station full of crimes but a courthouse, I accept that this is a mod, so there could be a possible issue with that, but it still doesn't make sense really. Right guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play on a little bit because I think we're in a bit of a death spiral now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play on for a little bit and I'll be back to give you a bit of an update of where we are. And this could very much be the last part in this series because everything is rapidly becoming unraveled. So I'll see you in a minute when I can give you a bit of an update once we get through the winter cycle. Okay guys, welcome back. All I can say is we've managed to survive the winter, but you can see the population is only now 2,300. We had absolutely massive losses. And if I show you here, you can see how quickly if I go back to January, you can see what happened is through January and into February, we just had this massive crash, and you can see the numbers of escapees. We only had 232 births, and we had 825 deaths and 1,347 escapees. And what I was trying to do was we keep bringing back residents to New Hope, and what that means is now that Titus out here is completely depopulated, so there's no workers here. Therefore, this whole area is completely crippled now. And that means we've got nobody working in the oil refinery. And of course, even in Tudor Town here now, you can see that there's just the odd person still trying to keep the economy going. But we've no longer got power because there's no workers in the power plant. We can't produce steel or anything else like that. I don't think we've even got workers traveling up the cable car now. What's happened is it's just become a self-reinforcing colossal problem. It's probably the polite way of saying it. Looks like we've still got a few people working for the intelligence office. But let's see here, we've got a few people still producing a little bit of food. So we've got the odd people in here, but you can see the population is still slowly ticking down. And what seems to happen, if you kind of watch this, it kind of ticks down slowly and then suddenly it drops quite dramatically. So I think we're in a terminal spiral now. I was hoping that if I could get everyone in here, that we may be able to settle things down. But I think the problem is that if I show you the loyalty here is under 20% now. I think the problem is that when you get below 30% loyalty, you can it actually affects your happiness. You can see the happiness now is down to, well, 22%. But we got a little bit of happiness here, 32% here. So it's kind of fluctuating a little bit, but it's still foot crashing. But if I actually show you here, the food is still good. Health is reasonable if you can see it. Loyalty is a basket case. We got no alcohol. I mean, culture took a little bit of a whack, but because we didn't be able to get people into it. Sport is still pretty good. I mean, clothes took a little bit of a bust as well, because what happened was I had to keep bringing people in to keep staff in here, actually providing food and meats and other resources that people needed. But I don't think that's enough to keep this actual economy going, because we're in this cut-off period now where loyalty is, well, if we come to up here, You see the loyalty, the average loyalty for the whole republic is 16%. That means that the loyalty is dragging down the happiness, which is now 22%. And then what that also means is the happiness now is affecting the loyalty. And of course, I can imagine what the productivity now is. See what the productivity is. Just pause so they don't drop here. Yeah, I mean, we've got an average I've got a productivity of 30%. I don't know, is there any stats that will show us what productivity, an average productivity would be? It might show. Yeah, we've got an average productivity of 31% and an average lifespan of 63. I'll be generous. And you can see we've got unemployed workers, but I think some of those unemployed workers now are kind of scattered across the map, but they've only got 191. You can see we also got an average age of 25 because the older population are dying because the average lifespan is getting lower and lower, which isn't helping matters very much. Got an actual population there. If we come back to the stats at the top here, you can see we got due to small child. So again, the problem we're getting is the fact that we're probably not getting the staff in the kindergartens at the moment. We got as well, which isn't happening. So there we got here. We got total work. We only got 1,325 workers now out of 2,200 because we've got 876 children, which is not too bad. But if I show you the orphanage, you can see. So we got no staff in here now. So we're getting children with inappropriate upbringing, which means they've got high alcohol abuse and also zero loyalty. So it means that these children, when they actually come out, are actually dragging the loyalty down even further. We are keeping this part of the infrastructure going. It's just that, as I say, over here, Titus is effectively now a ghost town. I think we've got a few odd people still in here struggling to keep going, but I think most of them are up here. Yeah, we got a few workers in here because what I've been doing is pulling workers out of Titus. I think what I'll do is I'll see if I can get a few more. You can see I keep topping up here, but because of the low loyalty, just pull them out here. Just have one last throw of the die. But I think this series is now toast is probably the polite way of saying it. So we've got a few more, a little bit of space up here. I think that finishes off Titus. And Tudor Town was okay, but you can see again that the population is just kind of hanging on by a thread, because part of the problem over here is that we've lost power, which means these buildings here might be getting a little bit. I know. I think the power's coming from the residual windmills. Yeah, I think we got a few windmills still putting power into the grid, which is keeping things going. Got our courthouse here, which isn't going. Got no workers in there anymore. So we're down to 2,147, but so we might have a few people. Well, we got a few people still hanging on here. Things are a little bit grim, is probably the polite way of saying it. Well, this is actually holding up completely. Oh, well, we're actually had. I was about to say then we've had a population increase, but no, we're still dropping. I think it's just a matter of time now. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to play on now, and just so that I can show you the final demise. I think once it gets below, say, 1,000 or something like that, then there's no way back. Although, to be honest, there's no way back at the moment. But we've got a bit of a traffic jam here because we're still trying to build things, so we're still kind of hanging in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut the video, and I'll be back when the final demise happens. Welcome back. We are on the 28th of April 1940, and this will be the last update for this series because quite an interesting thing has happened. But first, just to give you an idea of what I've been doing, what I've been trying to do is keep New Hope going by putting the people back into here. So Titusville is now completely empty I think there's nobody working here at all. There's a couple of patients waiting for treatment. I'm not exactly sure. So there might be the odd one or two people still struggling on here. The same for Tudor Town. We've got a few odd residents clinging on because these are houses that didn't need heating. But you can see, for all intents and purposes, the population has collapsed completely now in this area. So the only place where anything is actually even close to functioning is over here in New Hope. And I think one of the reasons that's keeping it going is the fact that we've got local power generation here, which doesn't take much. And we've still got our heating plant working, and we're still able to have our serving staff in here now. You can see we're still getting this persistent problem with even with full number of staff, we can't seem to be able to serve the entire population. And the reason for that is that the productivity is through the basement. If I show you here, our average productivity is only 32%. Our lifespan is still around 66, and we've got an average age of 25. And you can see if we come up to here, in fact, that's probably not a particularly good representation because we're in May. But if I take the profile back to January, and what you'll see is a very, very interesting effect. Well, we go back to December. If I actually show you the population there, we had that massive dip in the back half of winter when we had loads of escapees and loads of deaths. You can see that in the profile there. We had during this whole period, we had 376 births, 957 deaths because the average lifespan was dropping, and we had 1,949 escapees. But what seems to have happened is that the numbers of escapees and people leaving has flattened off quite considerably. And in fact, if I come out and come back in again, what you'll see is that we're not getting bursts. We've still got births and deaths are roughly staying equal, but the number of escapees we're having is actually sticking and has dropped quite low. But then we don't have many population to escape now. I think what's happening, if I show you here, we've already got happiness on because I've been checking it constantly. The happiness seems to have stabilized around 25%, so it kind of dipped down a little bit. Now it's actually kind of climbed up a little bit more, so the population seems to be stabilizing. The loyalty, I doubt if you guys can see it, but the loyalty is in the teens. There's 17% there, 13%, where over in Tudorville, I don't know if there's anybody left that I can represent this now. If we come into Tudorville, well, we got no one who can patrol it, but what happened here is the loyalty crashed completely and it got down to 3-4%. We still got, I must have somebody still here. Got 3 people still living here, hanging on by their fingertips. And what seems to have happened is now I've shrunk all the way back to New Hope. Things are settling down a little bit, and you could possibly actually keep this going and recover from it. But to be honest, I think it'd be too much of a grind because there's too much legacy stuff here. But I think this is a good indicator for when you first start out, that what you need to do is attend to people's needs and try and keep everything in balance during that initial growth period, because obviously when you start a new game, your loyalty will be a lot higher than when I started with this series, and also there's a chance of maintaining that loyalty. But of course the big factor also is the happiness. You can see the average happiness is 25%, but you can see there though, with respect to clothing and sport, all the other stats are still pretty good. In fact, probably the best way to show it is if I come into here, you can see we've still got 99% food in here. We've still got 90% health. Skip that. We've got no alcohol addiction. Oh, we got a little bit of alcohol. No, we have. It's just me misreading the percentages. Got a tiny little bit of alcohol addiction here. We're still running, I think, in the low 90s for culture. The same with sport. In fact, sport's pretty good actually. It's in the mid 90s, nearly 94%. Close is a little bit low because I think they're still recovering, but again, it's still 90% close. The basics are still there, but what's dragging everything down is loyalty and happiness. and of course that's reducing productivity, so it becomes a self-reinforcing cycle. So the only way I could think that I could recover this playthrough would be to literally just leave New Hope the way it is, let it run for probably 3 or 4 years, possibly build a few monuments, and just try and keep the population so it doesn't crash completely. Get the monuments in and work very hard to try and improve the loyalty. I think if I can improve the loyalty, the downside of that is I would have to play 4 or 5 years and do very little, so there's no point in me making videos on that. And to be completely honest, I don't really want to do that, because what I would like to do is start looking at how to manage early starts at different levels of difficulty. This is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video and the series. What I will say is, if you're interested in early starts, I'm not going to do another really early start until the game is fully released, because I think what we need in place is all the other mechanics that the devs have planned for it. So what I'll be doing up until the game goes into full release, I might do say a 1947 or start, because I think that's a reasonable start in relation to the 1960s, and we've got enough amenities to make it work. But the other thing I also want to do between now and when the water update drops is start looking at some different types of start and seeing how it's possible to manage loyalty and happiness in the context of early start. So this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video, hope you found it interesting, and until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.